Hello, everybody, and welcome to Comics News Today. I am joined with Booster
Yeah, hello there.
and Denali,
Aloha, gang. Good to see you guys.
and this is Chester C. Busby III, and we have some interesting comics news today. We're going to be talking about some of them are fun, and some of them are a little bit more serious, but we'll get to those in a minute. First thing we want to do is we want to talk about our FanSpeak updates that we have. We have, of course, the art contest is going on, and this art contest is for a FanSpeak logo and a mascot. And what we're going to do is in Alternative Comics, we're going to take a full page ad. And the winner of that contest, which will be held on October 31st during our Comics Titan fundraiser at the same time, we will take the winner of both. So it could be the same person, it could be two people, and that's going to be put into that full page ad. So ultimately, what we're looking at is the winners will have their art in a comic book, which we think is awesome. Just to keep in mind, guys, that this contest is running until October 30th. You have to have submissions in by October 30th, and then we'll arrange everything for the next day's show. But been talking to a lot of people, and there's people working on it and getting involved. This is going to be cool. I think we're going to see some cool stuff. I'm really excited about it. Next thing, please remember that we're always looking to see your reviews and just any art on the FanSpeak page. The link is just down there below, and we want to see what you have to say. We want to share it, and of course, also go down to FanSpeak, or you can go to my Facebook as well, which is Chester C. Busby III, and just tell me, put me on the show, and we'll put you on one of these shows, and because that's what it's all about. It's about the fans speaking, right? Also, I have a Twitter link down there for myself, and I have been scolded that my Twitter is not big enough, and I need to grow it. So please go over there and help me out, so I am now no longer get scolded. Thank you. Next thing we want to talk about is the Comics Titans fundraiser. Like I said, on 31st is when we're going to have the actual raffle, but this raffle is being set up by Pope Fire, and it's also being co-run by Eric Nienoltowski, the great artist and protege of Mike S. Miller. And actually, Eric is handling all the money for that. And what you're doing is you go buy a raffle ticket, $3 gives you one ticket, $5 gives you two, and the raffle prizes are looking real cool, by the way. That we're going to have on Halloween night. But what the money is going toward, and is already being used for, is to go help people in the community who don't have enough money to get some of these Indiegogo comics that are going on during this indie renaissance. It's a really nice project. It's a community thing. I think it's a lot of fun. So go over there and get your raffle tickets. It's real cheap, and we can all have fun together on Halloween night. I think it's going to be a fun, big show, and we're gonna work on trying to have some interesting surprises on the show, and maybe even a couple of interesting guests as well. Also, to remind you that we are doing podcasts now, particularly of our artist or writer or professional guests that we have and we do interviews with. We're on this podcast, and it's on Anchor. That link is down below too. And the cool thing is, our Anchor has expanded. We are now not only be found on Pocket Casts and Stitcher, but you can find us on all the podcast things, iTunes, all that stuff. It has spread to all the different available apps and places for that. So that's really cool. When you're riding to work or whatever, and you want to just listen to our show, please go and download those. And it's new, but we're going to be adding more and more to that. So that's a lot of stuff. But of course, the big thing we have to announce is that this week on FanSpeak, and I spoke to the man today, actually, we have Mike Baron is going to be our guest. Now, Mike Baron is a writer, and this will be interesting because we had Gary Shipman and, of course, R.T. Baron. They're two great, amazing artists. But now we have a writer, and he's worked for Marvel and DC and Valiant and Malibu, and I think he started with Capital Comics, actually.
Correct.
Yeah, correct. And my favorite thing with him was Badger. Nexus, I remember reading as well. I think I probably read most of his stuff initially at Dark Horse, but I don't want to get into that. We're going to talk to him on Saturday. And of course, that this week FanSpeak is usually on Friday night, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, but this week it is actually on Saturday, 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. That's not a standard thing. That's going to happen like once a month. And actually, it was one of those things that we had no choice about. But I actually think it's going to turn out pretty cool having that once a month for the next few months. I might keep it that way because it actually makes it a little easier for some people to get on who can't get on the Friday night but can get on the Saturday. So it's something we might want to do consistently just so we can have more fans get on and chat with us and have more access. So that's really cool, and don't miss that. And of course, the last point before we move on to talk to the guys here is coming up here in 2 hours is the Drawn and Quartered Fan Edition, and that's a lot of fun. The show yesterday was really cool. Mike Miller actually won what his Lobo is, an amazing piece of art, and so all of you please come back and check that out in 2 hours on this very channel right here, and that's going to be a lot of fun. And of course, one of the people with me today is Gibby on it, a great artist, does hairy legs really well. How you doing, Booster?
Yeah, I'm doing all right. Thank you. Thank you for complimenting my hairy legs. I'm glad you're a fan.
Well, no problem. I just hope you're warmed up.
Since I'll be drawing Lobo, you can expect a very hairy Lobo all over the place, not just the legs this time.
All right. So, he's actually, to be, all joking aside, Booster is actually improving. And of course, the last thing before we jump right into the news here is that please go down and hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. It helps us grow. And share out this as well. That little share button is actually one of the more useful tools for us. It lets all the people know that we're sitting here talking, and we can sit here and have chat together. And the bigger we get, the more we can do, the more people involved, the more guests we can have. It's really fun to see this grow. We're having a great old time over here. So Denali, Booster, you guys ready to start getting into the news?
I am ready.
Ready to go.
Very ready, even.
Yeah.
All right. Well, hello, everybody. Let me shut this camera off. I'm working on upgrading my internet here probably next week because I think it'd be good to show my face sometimes. Hello, everybody. But it's horrible connection right now. But next week, maybe I'll be able to do more of that. But for right now, it's not really good.
Josh
anyway,
saying get Booster on Pro Drawn and Quarter.
That would be great.
That would be awesome. Yeah, that would be very cool. All right, let's just jump into some interesting, fun stuff first. Let's start out light. What do you guys say?
Sure. Light is good.
All right. Light is good. All right, here we go. Well, this is coming from Comic Book /DC. I don't know this site. Do you know this site, Denelli? Are they a good site, or are they just some kind of hack? Or do you know anything about these guys?
They're part of the... They're somewhat good. I rate them a little bit higher than Bleeding Cool and the other sites. But
that isn't high praise.
No,
that's not high praise. But in interest of making sure I have all the voices, I go through all the basically all.
You do a great job with that, man. Actually,
and we appreciate your service.
We do.
A moment of silence for Denali's sanity, please.
Yes. But aside from the quality of the site, the story is interesting. It says, here's why Gavin O'Connor is reportedly no longer involved in Suicide Squad 2. Well, I guess my question would be, why are they making a Suicide Squad 2? And of course, boom, new news. What's James Gunn can bring to the Suicide Squad sequel? Well, I guess this guy's out, but Gunn's in, and they're still doing it. Once again, my question is, why are they making a Suicide Squad 2? I mean, that was such a horrible movie. I mean, it was really bad. And of course,
I don't know what's more offensive, honestly.
Yeah. Well, tell us what you think would be more offensive.
I don't know what's more offensive, them hiring James Gunn, despite all the controversy surrounding him, or making a Suicide Squad sequel. What are they doing?
Exactly, man. Exactly. And although the Harley Quinn girl, the girl who's doing Harley Quinn here, Margot Robbie, I mean, she is a cute little thing. But Harley Quinn, I mean, come on. All right. Aside the controversy, though, James Gunn is good at what he does. He could bring something cool to it. But then, of course, since, James Gunn's involved, we also have Dave Bautista. He's going to join it. Yay. Okay, moving on.
Right, I guess.
And he's going to also be in Fantasy Island.
Fantasy Island, is he going to be Tattoo?
I guess. Oh,
Now you know they got to get Peter Dinklage for that, man. But Peter Dinklage is the man, so I'm happy with anything he does. I'm happy to see. You
they
guys
were
like Peter
complaining.
Dinklage?
They were complaining about him playing that iconic role.
Or because he's not a small Asian man,
Small French Asian man. Let's get that
French Asian man. See, now that's going to be hard. Go find that. Go search that out. Good luck. All right. This is the problem with these identity politics. You start really limiting the talent and skill you can get a hold of, right?
And then you have to make sure that person can act on top of all these little details you need.
Hey, Booster.
Mhm.
That's the point I just made, man.
Oh, sorry, I didn't realize.
It's okay. It's all right,
I
man.
didn't realize you also meant that. I'm sorry.
That's no problem. No problem. So in the Arrowverse, which I actually watched season 1 and 2 of Arrow. Did you guys watch Arrow at all?
Yeah, I remember. Oh, bloody hell. I binged watched that nonsense because I was so bored. And I thought season 1 was alright, but around season 2, I was starting to notice something that was starting to. Oh, it's just starting to hurt me. I remember that every episode, all these characters were ever doing was just arguing and bickering over nothing.
Yeah.
And
No, it started good. Then it went down. Yeah.
yes, they either did not need to have 40-minute episodes or 20-episode seasons because they started to drag out some nonsense.
I think, I watched the first 2 seasons. By season 3, they kind of lost me. I'm like, forget this.
I stopped watching it too. It's too bad, but I think all those, what is this, CW shows, they all are kind of cool to see that the comics are on TV, but they're also kind of have the giant L lame factor to them. Especially that Supergirl. Oh, that was so horrible.
I think they're just teen drama shows that happen to have superheroes in them. That's how I feel about them.
That's what it is. But the sad thing about it is that they're making more money than the actual movies that they're showing in theaters.
Not cool. And it's not for me. It's for teenagers like 12, 13, 14-year-olds old. And that's cool. I'm happy I'm happy they got stuff that they're enjoying. So I'm not against it. It's not for me. And what do you guys think about Batwoman's costume here? They got some official leaked photo. I'm sure it was leaked. I'm positive it was leaked.
It's a good costume.
Yeah,
it's not bad.
It's a good costume. I think. How do I say this politely? Her facial expression is odd. I don't know if she's uncomfortable or if that's just a happy face. I don't know what's going on there.
I think she's trying to be tough.
She's
trying to be tough.
Nah, that's
tough. It's a
face. She looks like a little puppy trying to growl at me. It's just, I'm sorry.
I know. And she doesn't really have the body to pull off a superhero. But we'll see. Of course, this character is making all kind of waves. It's kind of interesting. This is the actress that we saw in John Wick 2. Which John Wick 2 was great. She was the mute in that.
Great stuff. She was great in that.
Which was kind of funny because they said that she wasn't lesbian enough when they announced
which I was like, well, exactly how do we gauge lesbianness?
I appreciated her role in John Wick 2, especially the fact that
so did I.
Mute. Was that bloody Aussie accent?
She was also in The Meg, if anybody watched that.
No, I haven't seen that. Yeah. But I mean, I thought she did fine. I mean, I think we'll see. She might do a really good job. But the interesting thing is the controversy is coming from the other side. Us over here, like, yeah, okay. Because, for us, it's no controversy. I mean, she, of course, for those of you who don't know, Batwoman is DC's lesbian character. And she has been around she's been a lesbian for a long time, right? So it's nothing new. And I've read a few Batwoman comics. They weren't so, this was a little while ago, but they weren't that bad.
I'd say about 2005 they decided to liz her up.
Is that when they did that? Yeah, I don't know. Yeah. Anything I've ever read, she was. But the ones I read, it wasn't like every issue was about her being a lesbian. It was like occasionally mentioned. For the most part, she was just the one when I was reading. Maybe Denali can help me out telling when I was reading. When I was reading it, she was extremely brutal, and Batman was kind of chastising her for being too aggressive.
Right. That was like, what? Early 2000s, late 90s.
Okay, and she was already a lesbian then, but they
Yeah.
didn't beat you over the head with it. Now these days they probably are, for all I know, but I don't read it anymore. But
Oh,
I don't
yeah.
know. Maybe it'll be good.
I hope they do with the initial runs and, have her sexuality as a trait that adds on to the character, not the one that defines her as a character.
I mean,
Yeah,
look at
well-
the advertising for the movie. They're already going lesbian, 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 Batwoman. That's how it is.
Yeah, no, we'll see. We'll see. This is I think it's just news, in my opinion. I guess the strange thing on our point is the fact that the SJWs are the ones who are so angry about it, and we're not. Let's go over here in the chat and see if they got any comments so far. We have March here. Says the nah, give me a katana. Yeah, dude, I would love to see a katana show. That'd be cool. Although my wife thinks it's hilarious that we have a character named Katana. But see, you guys ever see that DC animated show that had Katana and it had who was that old cat themed superhero? He was an old guy in the animated one. Who was that?
Oh, Wildcat.
Yeah.
Wildcat. Yeah.
You
That
mean
was
Beware
cool.
the Batman? Yeah.
Yeah, no, I like that. That was a good. Was that a movie or a show?
That was a show.
A little CG
I
style.
like that, man.
Yeah.
It was fun.
Yeah.
But Katana was cool in that. Now, unfortunately, Katana in the Suicide Squad was abysmal. I mean, abysmal. I don't think you could get worse than that. The acting was horrible. And of course, I know that actress. She's actually a Japanese actress, and she's horrible here too. So I'm like, you came over to Japan, you're looking for a Japanese actress, and you picked literally the worst one you could find. I mean, who is involved in the casting? I mean, I'm sorry. I see her all the time over here. She's horrible, and everyone laughs at how horrible she is. I mean, that's the reality, and they put her in the movie. It was sad because I like Katana. I think it's a cool character. But anyway, moving on. Lord Asherman says, "Hello, everyone. Hello, Lord Asherman. Captain Canada, yeah, Captain Canada in the house." He says, "Booster like the men with no shirts in Arrow."
Okay, man.
Oh, goodness gracious. Captain Kennedy goes on with Triple X3 and Vin Diesel. Yes, of course, we're going to be looking forward to that. Tank Ferret, who's going to be on the Drawn and Quartered Fan Edition later. Hey, man, I hope you're getting ready, warming up. He says lesbianness is gauged on a scale of 1 to Batwoman. All right, cool. Homeless Liberal says, Chester, look up the synopsis. I'm sorry. She's probably telling me it's really, really bad. Look up the synopsis. She's telling me to do it again. Denali, look up the synopsis. I guess maybe she doesn't like what the show's going to be about.
Okay.
I bet the synopsis says lesbian, lesbian, lesbian.
Probably, but I don't know. I just saw the little thing here, and I was like, okay. And I kind of liked her in the John Wick, so maybe, right? Then James S says Japanese names with English words are any less ridiculous. Well, yeah, that's right. You're right. It's true. Okay. All right. Thank you, chat. Chat was being very helpful there. Okay, let's move on now. This is Denali's got a story for us, guys. Yeah, here you go, Denali. Tell us about this. It sounds interesting, man.
Yeah, it's Skybound Galactic, which is the new production company by Robert Kurtman, Skybound Entertainment, and Sony's Picture Televisions. So they joined up together and they announced this production company for the purpose of doing image comic adaptations for television shows. And they have 4 of them. One is called Nail Biter. One is called Thieves of Thieves. And let me see. And then there's a couple more. But the one
Darkness and Think Tank, I guess.
Yeah, I was going to go with trying to drum it up. But
I'm sorry. I was going to say. I will shut up now.
No problem. Since he's already busted the bubble. Yeah, it's a Think Tank, but most importantly, the Darkness. They're working on adapting the Darkness. For those who knows, early '90s, mid '90s, from Top Cow had the Darkness, which was this offshoot of the Witchblade with Mafia Jackie.
I know Witchblade. I know that one. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's actually going to be pretty cool if they're able to pull it off and be truthful to the stories and to the comics that they're adapting from.
I'd rather they stay true to the video games of the Darkness in the comics. The comics are a little silly.
Well, you know something about these comics, Booster. Go ahead and give us your opinion on it, dude. What do you think about this news?
Yeah, I thought the Darkness video games were absolutely awesome. I played those before I checked out the comics, and then the comics were like odd. How do I put that? Just strange.
Oh, cool. Denelli, do you have any more information on what these are about? I mean, you guys have read the comics. I really don't think I've read any of these. Thief of Thieves, Nail Biter, The Darkness, and Think Tank. What do you think about those things? Now, I do see Rick Jacobs wrote the Dirk Gently's Holistic Detective Agency, and I actually enjoyed that. So tell us a little bit more about these books and what we can expect. Okay.
Sorry, got myself muted. Basically, Thieves of Thieves is, it's a standard master thief who's about to quit, kind of like John Wick, who leaves the world, and has to come back. But this one is now the master thief who's just about to quit, and before he does that, he's going to pull his biggest heist yet, and he's going to get the people, and he's going to find himself in the run from both sides. So I kind of see that. Yeah.
It's so John Wick like. Is it set in modern time, or is it set in like a fantasy setting?
It's set moderish, but it with adaptations they can change it to whatever age or whatever time they want anyways. That's but true. So I wouldn't say it's kind of modern, ish, but it depends on what the budget is and what they want to do with the property. But the storyline is Master Thief wants to steal it. Think Tank, I'm not that well versed of it. Okay. But from what I remember, it's have you ever seen Chuck, the TV show?
I like Chuck.
Yeah, think Chuck, except he has a ability to kill everybody easily and doesn't agree with the American government. So now now he's trying to get run from military control, and
John Lennon with superpowers. I got it.
Yeah.
Okay. So and Booster, what exactly is The Darkness about? What's the story? You said it was a spin-off of Witchblade, which I know that one. So what exactly is The Darkness about? What's the general, summation of it?
Oh, well, the Darkness is supposed to be this kind of satanic entity. I'm not sure if it's actually related to Satan or not, but it's quite a satanic entity that just goes around attaching itself from person to person. I believe it went down to that particular bloodline, the Estacado one. And Jackie Estacado, on his 21st birthday, was the final one to get the power of the Darkness, and so he just gets this darkness surge and this ability to summon all sorts of demons and such. Yeah.
Oh, so
and he gets all sorts of angelic entities that are after him. Yeah.
Okay, so it's like the opposite of the Witchblade, because the Witchblade is some kind of a celestial entity as well, right? I remember from reading those comics. Yeah. Oh, okay.
Mafia hitman, and he also has got a good deal with mafia stuff. I just found it odd because it was a very large section of it trying to deal with his sex life and how he's gonna get laid now that he has the Darkness, and he'll die if he has sex. I was like, okay, Garth, let's get past this.
Yeah, well, Garth Ennis, he did make the boys. He kind of gets in that weird stuff a little bit, but he's a great writer though. And the last one is Nail Biter, Denelli. Do you know anything about that at all?
Yeah, it's a kind of like a horror criminal procedure comic where the main character's power is that he can see or experience what the victim happened, murder victim, by chewing on their fingernails.
Okay, so it's a mix of psychometric powers with Chew, which I like Chew. If you guys haven't read Chew, you should go check that out. I think it's gotten weird now, but it was cool.
Well, I wouldn't, especially with the author calling us racist, and
Oh well,
one hasn't at this point.
Yeah, one hasn't, but I prefer not to give money for people calling us.
Okay, so everyone, don't listen to what I just said. Don't read Chew at all. Oh well. But all right, so those right there, ladies and gentlemen, are the main news topics we're going to cover today. And that's actually going to be our actual news show for today. And we're going to do something else here in a moment, but where I'm actually going to take that and rip it off and separate it into another video that I'll drop up later. So please hang around. We're going to continue that.
Excellent. But before we do, I did get the synopsis for Batwoman. So
sweet. Go for it, man.
Armed with a passion of social justice and a flair for speaking her mind, Kate Kane soars onto the street of Gotham as Batwoman, an out lesbian, highly trained street fighter, primed to snuff out the failing city criminal resurgent. You have failed me. But don't call her a hero yet. In a city desperate for a savior, Kate must overcome her own demons before embracing the call to be Gotham, symbol of hope.
Oh no.
Okay. All right. Well.
Wish we had social justice in the first few words.
Lord Asherman says, first sentence, and I'm noping out. Lol. Yeah, no. Everybody's got some cool comments and interacting with the conversation stuff. Great, guys. So anyway, we're going to move on to that next subject. And this one's a little bit more in depth, and we really would like to have your interaction with it. Tell us what you think about this next story we're going to get into. All right. So let me just take a moment and have a slight pause for editing purposes. Okay, so let's go ahead and get into this story. Now, this actually was brought to my attention by Denali. Thank you very much, sir. You are our intrepid reporter after all. This is an article coming out of Global News. Now, just to give you a little understanding of who Global News is. Global News is part of the Global Television Network in Canada. We have a little information on the wiki here. And they are nothing small. This is the #2 privately owned TV channel in Canada. So it looks like they're specifically news, but they are something. And it's interesting that a larger news organization has actually taken notice of what's going on here and done this article. And you'll see as we go through the article how ironic that is. Now, this right here is called Comicsgate. What is it exactly? And what's going on? And it's written by Chris Janselewitz, I would say is how you pronounce that. So before we get into the article, let's just go take a look at Chris and see who we're dealing with. This is something that Ethan does on his show, and I actually like that when he does this. I think it's very interesting. Oh, there is Chris. How you doing, Chris? You don't look like you're at all an unbiased person. He's been doing this for journalism 10 years, covering TVs, movies, celebrity, and pop culture. So he's a pop culture guy. Okay, cool. Right. Just look at the face. Just look at it and remember Ethan's sketch. Just remember.
Bloody glasses. Every time with the bloody... What is it with the glasses?
Yeah. I don't know, but...
those particular brand of glasses that makes you insufferable.
Exactly.
Someone get the science on this, please.
Yeah. He has interviewed hundreds, if not thousands, of celebrities because he used to work for the Huffington Post, Canada, by the way. If that isn't a huge red light, I don't know what to tell you. Huffington Post is an absolute dumpster fire of SJW progressivism. All right. But he's interviewed hundreds, if not thousands, I think that's impossible, of celebrities ranging from D to A-list. Among his favorites are Quentin Tarantino, George Takei, Betty White. Ooh, hey, don't put Betty White in there. That's disrespectful.
Okay.
Margaret Cho and Keanu Reeves. Anyway, he is a dude who's been in it for a while. He is a professional and he is known. Okay, cool. So let's see what he has to say. Now, this is something I want you guys to notice as we go through. There's a running theme here. Okay, and this is why I wanted to talk about this article in depth, because it is very, very indicative of what it is we have to deal with over here in Comicsgate. It shines a very bright light on exactly how these people think and how they view us, even though they haven't spoken to us at all. And you'll notice in this article, not once did they talk to anybody from the other side. This is all people from their point of view, right? And that's, of course, not very good journalism. But it starts right off. Take a look what they do. They said, hardly a new phenomenon. Comicsgate, as it's called online around the water cooler, has been circulated and burgeoning since at least 2014. Now, what did they do here? They announced that Comicsgate is a thing, and they call it hardly a new phenomenon. Hardly a new phenomenon. What is that doing? That is diminishing it. It's making it small, not important. Comicsgate, what's that? Nothing to see here.
And they're also tied into another gate, which is Gamergate, which kind of came around the same time, 2014.
Yeah, and they get into that later for sure. Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, it's true. This is the very first 4 words are diminishing it. And the whole article is doing this. They're basically saying, oh, this is nothing. Comicsgate's nothing. It's an unimportant comic. What's that? But yet you are Global News, a big channel in Canada, and you're talking about it. The irony continues. And he says, lately it has a resurgence online. Resurgence. Is it a resurgence? With the hashtag popping up here and there in conversation. So what is it exactly? Generally, it's an online thing. Once again, diminishing, making it small. An online thing, a nothing. A discussion that frequently turns ugly virtually and in real life. Okay, well, now here we go, starting to throw words around, starting to attack. We are ugly. Not only on the internet, but in real life as well. Well, I think they're talking about our character, not our actually faces, Booster. We don't hold that against you, buddy. We don't. We love you anyway. All right. Okay. But mainly laser focusing on biggie creators. Now, what exactly, you guys help me out. Why would you use the word biggie? Help me here.
Maybe they're using the raptor known as the Victoria's Big. Biggie, Biggie, come to me.
Because that was a hip chop joke.
Yeah.
Okay. You're improving, Denali. It's coming along, man. But the big creators, DC Comics and Marvel, is motivating solely by political agendas. Okay. Once again, diminishing and isolating. And as such, it's aiming to transform its long-running traditions of featuring white, heterosexual male comic book characters into a more diverse spectrum. Think more black characters and characters of color, or increased gay and trans inclusion. All right. Now, this is what is saying that we don't like. Once again, they're labeling us as that. And of course, they don't understand that what we don't like is the fact that they're taking our characters and twisting them. They can make any new character they want. If it's drawn well and it's written well, we'll probably like it.
Yeah, and the problem is that their new character aren't as well liked as the old characters.
All those things have existed for a very long time.
Exactly.
Yes, they have. We just talked about Batwoman, right? Mm-hmm. And I don't remember anyone actually caring. I don't remember any controversy about her becoming lesbian. Do you guys?
No.
No, I don't remember anything.
Kind of hilariously ironic, considering that Batwoman existed since about the 60s to try and prove that Batman wasn't gay.
Oh, okay. All right.
That was the sole purpose of her creation.
I didn't know that. There you go. Information. That's why we gather together. Yeah. All right, let's continue with this. Diehard comics fans who ascribe to this belief are vehemently against the diversity push, saying that the demographic Comicsgate aims to please isn't interested in comics anyway. So essentially, the comic industry is kowtowing to people who don't even buy their wares. That's the gist anyway. Now, of course, if you guys have noticed, he's made a huge error in here. So I'm kind of wondering where the editor is for this large channel, because he doesn't want to saying that the demographic Comicsgate aims to please. He wants to say the demographic that the biggie comic book companies aim to please. So he's kind of screwed it up. He actually had Comicsgate on the brain when he was writing this. But his point is what Marvel and DC and Image and all the others are creating is something that we're not interested in. And I agree. We're not interested in it again. I don't know if I'd use the word vehemently, but no, we just don't give you our money. Most folks in the world of comics will tell you that Comicsgate isn't even really about comics per se, but rather an extension of the current political divide. So what are they doing here? Once again, they're diminishing it. They're making it small. It's not important. It is just part of a larger, an unimportant thing, part of a larger thing, right? They're diminishing.
We are the symptoms of the current political divide. So we must, be on the wrong side of history, because we are not trying to give equality, even though comics, as before, has been more so equality and progressive forward.
Yeah. Now let's jump over here to chat real quick and see if we have any comments, and we do. So March Hare just says soy. Okay, rock on. I can only imagine that this will be a one-sided hit piece. You're right. What part of Canada Global Channel is this article from? It's from their Global News internet site, but it is part of the larger company. So yeah, this is actually part of the Global TV network. So. James S. So he met one relevant celebrity then. Okay. March Hare says, other than White and Reeves, the rest tells you all you need to know. True. Ashraman says, so they're tying us to Gamergate. Yes, they are tying us to Gamergate. None of your business says 80% of female characters are now lesbian characters. It's true. Comic books have an unusually high ratio of heterosexual, homosexual characters. That is true. That is true. Now, Pixel says, Denali Lama butchering Biggie. Lal, I can't see you. I'm not going to share that. None of your business. Lord Asherman, on the plus side, people will want to look at us, and many will realize that there were not what we're painted as. These kinds of articles always backfire. That's true. They do. They do. Let me go over here and just to make sure I'm not white box myself. But all right, let's continue on. You guys have anything you want to say before we continue with this article?
Oh, well, Biggie.
Okay, with that, we shall continue. All right, Comicsgate is the political cultural war come to comic books. Okay, said Lena Kersner, the former co-host of TV show Ed and Red's Night Party and creator of Lady Bits, a YouTube show about women in video games, which I'm sure is wonderful. And I actually took some time and went over and found out who this Lena Kersner is. So let's take a look at her, guys. Here she is. Is anyone shocked? Is anything about her face or her attitude shocking you at all?
She's kind of cute.
In a demented murder you in your sleep, I guess.
I mean,
I'd have to get her to agree to put on a ball gag before anything, but that's about it.
It's not helping business.
It's the same face as many guys do with the mouth, that smirk. That smirk. Yeah. And she got the glasses. She was only missing the facial hair.
Bloody glasses.
Oh my goodness. That's right. She just needs the beard. Dun, dun, dun. But Lisa Kernzer, also known by her stage name Lena K, or Lena Kernzer, sorry, Lena K, is a Canadian television host, writer, and producer. She co-hosted the final season of the variety show Yada 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 with her husband, so she's married. She is also, this is interesting, she's also a video game journalist and a hobbyist cosplayer. Of course she is. And look who she's related to. This is her. And then where is she connected? Oh, Anita Sarkeesian, Zoe Quinn. Nice. Nice. Of course, Total Biscuit over there. Rest in peace, brother. Rest in peace, brother. Yeah. But I mean, okay. Just it's exactly what you expected, right? But let's come back and see what this Lady Bits lady likes to say. I know I'm supposed to be a super serious and somber about this, but the whole thing is pointless on so many levels. Once again, diminishing it, right? Comic books are a relatively small industry, so readers personalize things to a degree that's difficult for consumers on mainstream media to understand. Everyone who is a fan of comics. Well, go ahead, Booster.
I said they just want it to be a small industry. That's the thing with that.
Yeah. Well, it's just more diminishing. It's as if they had a plan when they wrote this article. Yeah. Everyone who is a fan of comics has read a book that they felt was written just for them. And it's like a drug. So now we're druggies.
Yep. We're trying to get our fix, and it's we're not getting our fix. I've heard that argument before.
Yeah. But I mean, you guys listen, you see what's going on, right? It is constantly diminish, make us seem toxic, make us seem deranged, make us seem like we're outside of normality, right? That's what they're doing here, right? And you see it all the time. It's just this article is so clearly and so easy to see, right? Its inherent pointlessness is what seems to make it so heated, she continued. Comic book readers have revolted over other stuff before. Outrage over Dark Knight 2 not being very good. Well, people didn't like Dark Knight 2 because it wasn't very good.
Well, yeah, okay. That was awful.
It was awful.
And it didn't even have to be politically charged to be awful.
Yeah.
No, it had nothing to do with politics. It had to do with it sucked. I mean, that's it. That's not controversy. That's just displeasure. For instance, this nerd fight has caused the attention of mainstream because it intersects with politics and our current collective fascination with the alt-right. Once again, they are diminishing us. We're not important, but yet we're important because we're alt-right. Now, I want to see a show of hands for everyone in the chat over here. Everyone, go ahead. Let me see how many of you are actually alt-right. Raise your hands right now. Okay. See, I don't see any.
Not yet. There's a delay. Give it a minute.
Give it a minute.
You missed the joke, Booster, meaning that I can't see through the internet. I don't have superpowers.
Oh, well, I was talking about the chat because I just see this little hand emoji.
Oh, I see. Okay. Well, I guess that would ruin my joke.
Yeah.
But I'm meaning, it's just this. They really want to attach us to the alt-right. And the funny thing is what the alt-right has become. Originally, the alt-right was literally just a young Republicans, young conservatives trying to separate themselves from the old guys. And they weren't more right. They were just the alternative to the old guy Republicans is what they were. People like, Milo Yiannopoulos and things like that. But now it's become this analogous with, Nazi. I mean, real Nazi, not the nonsense word they throw all around all the time. And it's interesting. And I guess Richard Spencer is the one that kind of dragged it that way. But it's kind of sad because it didn't start that way,
No, it got co-opted.
It did for sure. But I'm certainly not alt-right. I mean, I'm probably a libertarian. I mean, I'm not even that hardcore conservative. But me personally. But most people I meet are actually the same. Most people are in the center, right?
Yeah, center leftish over here, I guess.
Yeah. So I mean, who cares about politics? What does that have to do with anything? That's the point, guys. That's the point. If any of you progressives or would ever hear this, that's the point. We don't care about the politics. We just want to enjoy comic books, man. This is not a political conversation. It's comic books. It's fun. Get it through your head.
The only way we're politically charged is that we don't want politics. Is that they never seem to get that.
No, they don't. I mean, I don't, they don't understand because their life is all politics, and therefore we must be just like them. And that's the problem. It's all about projection, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But let's continue with this, guys. Now we're coming on to someone else. We were on that Lady Biz lady, and now we're going to come on to this comics writer Ryan North. Now, comics writer Ryan North. Now,
Oh no,
he's supposed to be a comics guy, right? So I should be able to recognize that name, but I don't. So
I
let's.
do.
You do. Well,
Mm-hmm.
he's a Canadian writer and a computer programmer who is the creator and author of Dinosaur Comics. Yeah, I've never heard of it. Look at these books down here. Never heard of them. Never seen them.
Yeah, he writes Squirrel Girl.
Yeah. The unbiddable
Well,
squirrel
That
girl.
well, that doesn't matter.
That doesn't
I'm not counting that. Now, it's interesting that he has an Eisner Award, and once again, guys, the Eisner Award has no meaning. You have
Mhm.
made it political, and it has zero value. Matter of fact, as far as I'm concerned, an Eisner Award sets off lights in my head immediately. Sets those bells off, you know.
So
But look at him.
You got to be careful because I mean, then you would say you would be going heads off with Betty Bright Weiser because she got an Eisner Award for her coloring.
Yeah. But then what I would do is I would say, okay, well, there's an Eisner Award here.
Yeah.
Let me go check. And then I go and read and check and see who this person is if I don't know them already. And then be like, oh, okay, right.
Okay,
But I mean,
so you'll do
yeah,
your
Eisner
research. That's
Of
what you're
course.
saying. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I'm not a jagoff. I'll actually go research something instead of just listening to someone else and believing it. Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Sorry,
and that's what-
I'm
and
not
that's what-
like
Yeah.
Denali. Thank you for trying to put me in that group, man.
No, I just want to point that out that you do your research,
Yeah.
and that you're informed, and that if you have any doubts, that we all should do our research to be fully informed. Don't take the words of just what we're saying, but look into yourself and make your own decisions as well.
Yes, that is absolutely true. But as you can see, look at the picture, guys. I mean, come on.
I'm sure his mother thinks he's very handsome.
I'm sure, but I mean, they all have this same look, and I don't get it. You know, how do they pull that off? But they do all have that same look, and of course, you know, as Booster had mentioned, he writes Squirrel Girl, and that's one of the worst things Marvel has ever produced, man.
It is. It's embarrassing, and I'm pretty sure that's what won him an Eisner.
Maybe I didn't bother to check because I do not
the most
care.
worst writer category.
Same with Erica Henderson, who draws Squirrel Girl. It's a depressing time we live in.
It is, man. It is. Well, let's see what this amazing comic book writer Ryan North has to say. He agrees, saying it's only garnering so much attention lately because the majority of people within the comics community want to distance themselves from the movie. The majority, huh? Okay. Let's see his quote we have here. It's I don't know. Maybe Booster should read this. Booster, could you read this in your most absolutely ultra soy boy voice, please?
Okay, where are we starting from? I'm afraid.
We are starting. It's having a bit of a moment. Let me blow this up a little bit for you. Make it a little easier.
I see it. All right. It's having a bit of a moment because several comic creators have come out recently. No, it's not whiny enough. I need more wine
No, it's
to
not.
it.
It's not.
You need more nasal.
Yeah, more
Nasally.
nasal. All right. Let me just let me get right up in there. It's having a bit of a moment because several comic creators have come out recently and said, in case there was any doubt, these comics have got misguided, hostile, and don't represent me at all, he said. That's drawn some attention to them, but they remain a small minority, given outsized attention because their beliefs and aggressive tactics, particularly against women, cis and trans.
Okay.
That-
Well, the fact that you said cis, I want to punch you in the nose already. Not promoting violence there, just saying that it's an urge. Okay. But I mean, look at this nonsense, man. I mean,
Wow.
I mean, it's ridiculous. Look at it's so typical, right? In case there was any doubt, he has the virtual signal in the middle of his, disparaging a group of people he doesn't know anything about. We are misguided. Okay, we are hostile. Are we? And don't represent him at all. Well, of course we don't represent you, dude. We don't want to represent you. That would make my skin crawl. Okay, we're not representing. You're right. I agree 100%. And he says that draws some attention to them, but they remain a small minority. Once again, making us small. We're not important. You're talking about us, but we're not important. Outsides attention because of their beliefs. And now this is the great one here. Once again, hostile, aggressive, right? Particularly against women, cis, and trans. Once again, everyone in the chat, raise your hand. Do you hate women? Do you hate whatever this stupid cis thing is? Because we probably all are cis. Do you hate trans and women? Raise your hand. Go ahead. Let's see it. Yes, I'm actually raising my hand right now. No, I'm not. Okay, but I'm going to say it's nonsense. Since when did we hate women? We talk about we love women. Women are awesome. They got these shapes and these bumps on them that are really cool.
They're awesome. Yeah,
they are awesome. Yeah, I like the women's.
I like them in HD. Anyway.
Yeah.
This is what I can't stand though. Is this mostly about women in comics, right? And they put words into our mouths, right? We keep telling them what this is about, and they go to these bloody articles. They don't ask us anything. Then they go write these bloody articles, telling everyone what we're saying.
Yeah,
it's always nonsense.
It is. Let's jump over here to chat and see if there's any more comments coming in. March Harris says. None of your business said, is that her natural hair color? I don't think any women in the Western world today have natural hair color anymore, dude. That is so blasé. March Hare says, if anyone is interested, especially if you have kids, the book William the Last is pretty good issue, #1. Okay, cool. All right. Lord Usherman says, to be fair, I have seen her call out feminist frequency and Anita in the past. Okay, cool. Because I don't know anything about her. I just know that she's making statements from a point of ignorance. So, and she's supposed to be a reporter, which is shocking to me. We got some singing going on here. Eisner equals popularity contest. Yes, you are right. Problem glasses and ironic beards. Look like puny lumberjacks and can't even change a tire. True. All right. And Lord Ashman says, I'm pretty sure a majority of Comicsgate books have a female lead at some point. Yes, they do. We have no problem with females at all. We love females in comics. I don't know what they're talking about. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, we just don't like Mary Sue's.
Well, no one likes a Mary Sue. What's the male version of that? What do they call it? A Marky
Gary
Joe?
Stu.
I was going to say Gary Stu.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, no one likes a character who, has power out of nowhere. That's the reason why, because bringing Ray in that soft reboot to be the new Luke isn't necessarily a problem, right? The problem with her is we saw with Luke. I mean, look how much hell that kid went through to finally get to somewhere where he could be helpful, right? He struggled and suffered and grew as a character. She didn't do anything. She was just automatically awesome, right? I mean, that's why we don't like her. It's not because she couldn't be cool. She could have been cool.
She didn't earn her spot.
No. And Luke earned it like crazy. I mean, he went through so much. In the very first 30 minutes of the movie, he sees his only family he knows literally burned to a crisp by the Empire. And I mean, that's shocking. What do we see from her? Oh, she had to take half credits for some of her salvaging, for half food credits. Ooh, big suffering there. You know what I mean?
All right.
Anyway, let's move on. Is this mostly about women in comics? Ooh, question mark. While some people might deny it, the majority of posts and social media references to Comicsgate involve the description of women in the media. Does it? Put simply, the old school comics fans, whoever they may be, resent the increase in the inclusion of women. Do we? That's interesting, seeing as some of my favorite comic book characters are women. But hey, you know me better than I do, don't you? Once again, diminishing us, right? The majority of tweets. Now go ahead, Booster.
But I'm saying also, once again, telling us what we think.
Yeah, exactly.
I love that.
Yeah. This next part is beautiful. Look at this, guys. The majority of tweets, unshareable here due to vulgarity, refer to women as interlopers in the comics world. And that's putting it nicely. The only positivity is Comicsgate supporters, for the most part, are relatively invisible. Okay, we're invisible, guys. That's us. They're talking about us directly now. They're not talking about Ethan or Richard. They're talking about us. That's us. hiding online or anonymously posting for site. We're anonymous. My name is Chester C. Busby III. Hello. There is a strong contingent of anti-Comicsgate folks too, butting against the movement every day. Now look what they do here. They give us these three tweets from three different people, but because they can't share it here due to vulgarity, all three of these tweets are from people that are against us. There's not one tweet here giving our side of the view or anybody who is against what's going on in comics. None of it. And they give an excuse because we're constantly vulgar. And I don't know about you, but I don't post vulgar things. Do you, Dinelli?
No, I just post congratulations to the creators of the Comicsgate communities and positivity.
True. We won't ask Booster that question.
Yeah, I'm pretty disgusting. I can't.
Yes, you are.
It's just me.
Okay. Yeah, it's all right. Go, Denali, why don't you go ahead and read this tweet right here, man?
From Bleeding Tool. I seen that one in my feed. Man who treats women like jokes, like unwelcome interlopers into the male worlds, are aggrieved by their transitions into their lives, acting out with anger and violence. Hashtag Comicsgate is a microism of that mentality. It tells non-male fans to sit down and shut up while mocking them. I'm pretty sure our female supporters would be questionably objected to that statement.
I would think so.
Because we told them to shut up.
Yeah. But it's and of course you notice the thing here, the interloper word, right? And you notice this guy writing the article, our friend Chris, who has all those Huffington Post accolades and all his celebrity buddies. He used the word interloper, saying we said that, but obviously he got it from right here. Bleeding Tool used the word, and he saw it, and he used it, but he put it into our mouths from his. Right? You can see that. You can see his brain working here. That's why I love this article, guys. You can see this guy's brain working. Just like the mistake he made earlier with using Comicsgate in place of where he should have said the big three. His brain is all on the. You can see it working, and that's why this article is so wonderful.
You have to remember that most of these people are followers of each other. So when somebody chain blocks them, that cuts off any disagreement. So they probably won't see any of us posting because we're chain blocked just for the association that we're following somebody that they've chain blocked in the past. Yeah,
no, it's a perfect point. It's exactly true. It's what is called a hug box. And if you want to learn about hug boxes, I would suggest watching some of Mr. Menacor's videos, but make sure you go in with a strong stomach because Mr. Menacor does not play.
Or just take a visit to Tumblr to see it, in its natural habitat.
I do not condone suicide, Booster.
Wow.
So, Booster, why don't you go ahead and read this one from Adam Veach?
Adam Veach. Oh, sorry. I get on for the Twitter for the first time in months. I see Comicsgate as a thing now. Can't look away from man babies complaining about the idea of women enjoying hashtag comics, hashtag comic books, hashtag Marvel, hashtag DC Comics, hashtag Image Comics, hashtag Dark Comics, hashtag Valiant, hashtag IDW, hashtag Archie Comics.
Thank you for the hashtag rant. That was really good. That's okay. But once again, diminishing, right? Dismissing. Babies. Complaining.
Did they get any tweets with more than 10 likes, or is this just all they could find?
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned that. Yeah, these guys are so important in opposition, right? But I mean, once again, like I mentioned, who over here is complaining about women? I haven't heard anybody complain about women other than people like Gail Simone and Mags Visaggio and these people. And the reason we complain about them is because they attack us. Right? Or they don't write very good stuff. But I haven't heard anyone actually attacking women. I haven't heard anyone calling for get rid of women. We have women in this community, some really great women. We have women on this show that have joined us. We have Kenzie, and she's great. She's so excitable and she's so into it, so enthusiastic. She does all kind of things for this community. She's a great person to have around, and she doesn't seem to have a problem with what we're doing. We had Dina on the show too, and that was very insightful having her on her opinion and stuff. We don't have a problem with women. We welcome them.
We have female creators like Taylor Grosso when we did
we had her on the other day.
Yeah, so
when we have women, the idea is that it's just a matter of circumstance. You know, we don't actively try to seek them out. You know, when our diversity happens.
Oh no, well we don't care about diversity over here. We just care about comics.
And it
if
just
you like them, welcome.
Happens by itself.
It does.
We allow it to be organic, not forced.
Yeah. That's right. Exactly. But I mean, my point I'm trying to make is, you notice the people that keep mentioning women are them. It's not us, right? But go ahead, Janelle, and read this last amazing tweet
from James,
Gornalist.
So far, so far, #Comicsgate is proving to be exactly what it claims to be: a movement against women. It's being driven by ignorance first, bitterness second, and jealousy third. Checking out my roasting of the Comicsgate turds in my new thread. Out now.
We see 3 likes here as well. So, and a little bit of self-promotion there, which is fine, I guess. But now this is the most aggressive one. Once again, somehow we're against women, which I didn't know that was the fact. We are ignorant, we are bitter, and we are jealous. Sweet. Kind of sounds like, I guess, virtual signaling and projection to me, don't you think? Because I'm not ignorant at all. And if I am, I will simply say I am. I'm not bitter. I'm a happy dude. Hi, everybody. And jealous. What am I got to be jealous about? I don't understand. I don't even know who you are, James. How can I be jealous of you? Anyway, let's continue with Mr. Norse Insight. Within the comics community, Norse said, most people don't think about Comicsgate until it impacts them in some way. That's not necessarily a good thing, but at least he asserted he hasn't seen much advocacy for it. Okay. And he says that being able to ignore something isn't the same as the thing it's not existing, he said. That's how I think he sounds. I've been aware of Comicsgate supporters for a long time. Mainly because I wrote a comic starring a woman that was also drawn by a woman, but I can count on less than one hand the number of working professionals I know who have voiced any support, any sort of support for them. Now, that's interesting comment he's making here. Now, he's talking about Squirrel Girl, I'm assuming. The thing I would say about Squirrel Girl, Mr. North, is one, the person that was drawing it was horrible. It was really bad art, guys. It's not a little bit bad. It's like, little teeny indie company bad, right? And then writing was silly as well. So this comic is not popular because it's not good. Because the thing is, I want to get your guys' opinion on this, and then I'm going to jump over the chat and see what they have to say. But I remember when Squirrel Girl first came out. I think it was she defeated Iron Man or something like that. It was this funny, odd, quirky little character, and it was cool. It was this side thing. It wasn't a main thing. It was just this little like plot device that somebody had. I don't know who did it, but someone threw it in, and she was this cool little character. I remember I was playing this game with my son, and it was like one of those little internet games where you have Marvel games on the tablet, and you had all the characters and they could fight against each other and stuff. And we got my son was small, and we got Squirrel Girl. We were so excited, because Squirrel Girl would do all her things, and she used to be cool. And now they've just absolutely throttled this character. I mean, take it, guys. Tell me what you think about this horrible atrocity that's happened to Squirrel Girl.
I'm wordless. I'm speechless. I can't say anything.
I mean, I can't really talk about it without using very awful words. So,
okay, that's fine.
I just feel sad. I
believe she's a Steve Ditko creation as well.
Yeah. Is she? Yeah. Like I said, I don't really know the whole history. I just remember seeing her pop up every now and then. It was this fun little cute thing. It was cool. There was nothing wrong with it. It was a lot of fun. And now they've taken it and they've twisted it into this ugly, hateful political statement. And why, man? Just relax, have fun. It's comic books, man. Have some fun. Enjoy yourself. Stop this nonsense, please, Mr. North. Now let's see what our chat has to say. Tank Ferret says, March, let's go back to March here real quick. Yeah, Luke had a train. I don't know what that means, but had 2 trains. Sorry. Yes, he did. And he went through a lot. Tank Ferret says, Ray, she went from Competent Woman to Mary Sue in just 2 movies. I'd say she went to it in 1 movie, but okay. Yoda gave no slack either. That's true. Dr. Wright. Now, Dr. Wright, I have a question for you, sir. I see you in here a lot, and we're going to do a rebuttal from. I'll throw that up real quick, just make sure I get the name right here. This is the rebuttal here, and this is from Chronicles of the Eight. Sorry, and this is the name that's put here is Will Friend. Unless I'm mistaken, Danelli, I'm pretty sure that Dr. Wright is actually the creator of these posts in this page, right? Please let us know here, Dr. Wright. We'd certainly like to have some conversations from you, because we're going to read your rebuttal here in a little bit, and I actually think it's really well written, guy. I like what you did with it, but Dr. Wright says she was a competent Mary Sue to begin with. According to the book, she downloaded all her Force powers from Kylo. Oh, okay, all right, okay. They probably should have told us that in the movie then, huh? They use bleeding tools as a source. Yes, that's true. Unfortunately, in bleeding tool, and they probably also use bleeding cool, which is a very, very biased place. March here. I never understood the fear of strong women trope. I love Storm, especially Mohawk Storm. Yeah, Storm is really cool. Tank Fairy. Yeah, and Dr. Wright. She was the competent woman trope in TFW, a good gender clip of a Hellenian classic. Sure. Okay. Let's see. Nasser. Why is Nasser here? Derek Tyler says, I love female comic book creators Louis Simonson, Joe Thompson, Linda Medley, Barbara Kessel. Well, not Kessel anymore. I mean, come on out there. I don't understand exactly what you're saying, but
let's add Andy City to that list.
Okay.
Yeah, so
he pick up Daredevil after Frank Miller, and she did a great job.
Yeah, so those are writers and artists, females.
I see. I see what he was trying to do. I just didn't follow it well. It's probably my fault. I didn't read it well.
And then None Your Business was talking about diversity and some of the people that we have in diversity, Nasser and Mindy Wilder.
That's okay.
Included. Don't forget our boys doing brand, Kanan White and Antonio Bryce.
Yeah.
Hello, Mr. DeWolf. Now, Dr. Wright said, yeah, that's me. I thought it was him. Please get in touch with us. I would like to speak to you myself. Go to the FanSpeak page, and because I don't know what your real name is, I guess it could be Will Friend. Maybe that's your name, or you're using alias. I don't know. But come over to the FanSpeak page, or just go to my Facebook, Chester C. Busby III. I'd like to talk to you. I like the way you write, and I like your ideas, and we'd like to have you on the show and have a chat with you, man. So please do that. Now, let's just continue with this real quick, and then we'll get to his rebuttal.
Definitely. And
now yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, and just make sure to hit the like and subscribe and bell notification for us if you like our things.
Please. Okay. Now this article goes through. I'm just gonna go through this real quick, guys, and then we'll comment on it. This section right here is continuing on. It says there's always division over something in comics. Agreed, Kessner. But in order to fully understand it, you need to be part of that world. Okay. And she says you have to realize that there's an identity component to fandoms. All right. But it goes deeper than that, she said. For a lot of years, people who weren't white men were kept out of jobs by systemic stuff. Really? Systemic stuff. Is it like slimy, or is it, I don't know. For instance, no woman could work on a Superman book because the editor was a serial sexual harasser. Is that true?
Ooh. Not that I know of, but
no comments. DC decided he was more important than any woman who wanted to write or draw Superman. Okay, so is he a serial sexual harasser really, or is he a serial sexual harasser like Judge Kavanaugh is? Kind of wonder, these days, right? And just don't hire women to work with him. All right, I don't know if that's true or not. The problem is that we get so many of this girl who cries wolf these days that I automatically don't believe you. Now I'll go research it and see if that's true. I'll actually take time to do that, unlike you. But it just automatically my brain was saying nope. Gave them the notion. I think you can see how resentment forms in conditions like that. Well, that would be true if it is true. Of course, there's the other side too. She continued. Okay, so she's going to give our side. Let's see, guys. Guys who felt like comics were a safe place to be a nerd, who felt it was a place where their opinion mattered, now feel like that's been yanked away and they feel aggrieved. Some would respond too bad to that. But I'm giving you the structural circumstances that lead to the Comicsgate being essentially a huge fight over nothing terribly important. Once again, diminishing, making us small. We're not important. It's not important. But yet again, you're talking about it, aren't you? There's a psychological, there's a psychological connection that geeks have with their media that's really hard to understand unless you're a geek. So what is she saying? She's trying to give our side. Is she supporting us? Is she against us? There's this statement actually says nothing. Right?
Now wait a second. Hi there, by the way.
Hey, what's going on, Dewolf?
This particular sentence about having a psychological connection to your media that you have to know as a geek, that's what's called being a fan, right? I don't care what it is, whether you like Harry Potter, whether you like Star Wars, or you like some other type of sports. Yes, there is a psychological connection, and everyone who likes that particular thing, whatever it is that you're a fan of, you're a fan of it. It's exactly that's that statement means, and that's not very hard to understand if you enjoy doing anything in this world.
Yeah, but this is a non-statement from her. She's supposed to be giving our side of it, but she's not. Is what she's doing. She's just trying to put little things to diminish and demean us in this non-statement that she's giving.
Yeah.
But anyway, it doesn't matter. This is the whole article. It's the reason why we're looking at it, because it's a beautiful look into their brain. But this goes on and continues and talks about the public blacklist of names that was put up by Richard Meyer, that horrible evil that he is. And of course, this is the article. If you guys remember this, when this happened, and it was complete nonsense. It had nothing at all to do with what it was said to be. And I just put it here so we could see it over. I'm sure everyone remembers this. I'm not going to go into that. That would be a whole nother show to talk about that one. But they just they referenced Richard Meyer's thing, but they did put a little quote in here from that. And Denali, why don't you go ahead and read this quote from Richard?
You are advised not to engage in any harassment, doxing, Twitter trolling with these peoples. Read by a statement by a Comicsgate proponent. The list is meant for all concerned with the state of comics to see who the main contributors are to the decline in quality. The players in comics #Comicsgate are not responsible for your action if you do not take the advice of the above statement. If you want to hurt these individuals, do it with your wallet. Don't buy their products. Don't give false reporter any clicks. Use archive.ie for any reporter links. Needless to say, many Comicsgate people don't follow these instructions.
Okay, so they're putting a statement in. This is from, unless I'm wrong, correct me if I'm wrong, but I remember very clearly this was Richard's statement. And they do Richard Meyer, and they do not name him, of course, right?
Of course.
But once again, he's actually, what he's saying is a good thing. Don't go and do anything mean or nasty. Just spend with your, protest with your wallet, which is a fair statement for anything, right? And of course, they can't say bad thing about that directly because it's a good thing. So what they say is, oh, we didn't listen. It's our fault. So once again, it's diminishing us and demeaning us, right?
Wait, hold on. I got to do it again. So we didn't listen to who? To Richard?
Yeah.
Okay, so
that's what they're saying. Yeah.
Which means we, as the fans out here, and don't get our marching orders from Richard.
No.
Right. It's basically like the same way we don't get our marching orders from Ethan Van Sciver. Right. We don't get our marching orders from any people. You guys, and you'll never understand that.
And it's actually quite the opposite. Those guys are eager to hear what we have to say because we're not giving them marching orders either, but it's much more leaning that way than the other.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
That's the whole point, right?
Well, because we're essentially their bosses.
In a way, and they understand that. Yeah.
Yeah. We pay them to give us entertainment. And if the entertainment they're providing is not good, then we're not going to use our.
And that's the whole thing, right?
Yeah. You're fired.
Yeah. But no, it's it's a typical thing. And then of course they continue here. Is this affiliated with Gamergate? Gamergate, yes, another gate. All right. And they're going to continue here and they're going to talk about pro Gamergaters and they're going to go on the harassment and the horrible evil. I'm not going to read this whole section, but once again, the whole thing they're doing is the same thing they've been doing the whole time. They're diminishing it. It's not important. Comicsgate is a nothing. Nothing to see here. Don't look. It's nothing. But yet Global News Network of Canada is talking about it. And they just try to connect this to the whole Gamergate thing, which is nonsense because Gamergate had nothing to do with what it came out to be. Gamergate was simply about some girl named Zoe Quinn who was sleeping with a bunch of reviewers to get reviews pumped up for her horrible game called Depression Quest. And everybody was, and I think for me, it was Total Biscuit was when I saw it. But everyone was like, yeah, this game is really, really bad. Why is Kotaku and Polygon putting these huge high-level review numbers on it? That's what happened. And it came out that her boyfriend came out and put out this letter talking about, what she had done. And that whole thing started over some girls sleeping with a bunch of reviewers and us saying, hey, man, that's not cool. And then it turned into this huge thing, we hate women, we're against women, and it had nothing at all to do with that. Nothing. If anyone wants to give a Comicsgate opinion, please go ahead while I scroll down.
Oh, it's just funny how these things work, right? We call out the journalists on their behavior, and the journalists collude, and then they to make up some narrative about us to throw off any kind of negative press on them,
Yeah, and they already admitted from the beginning. If you scroll back up, online and around the water cooler, they already admit that they're colluding with each other about what's going on.
Yeah, it's true. Now, this last little section, these last 3 paragraphs, I think are important to end this out so we can go to the rebuttal and get that done. We are getting tight on time. But Mr. DeWolf, can you go ahead and read these 3 paragraphs for us, man?
About Global News that has reached out to at least a dozen comic book writers, creators, and artists for their opinions about Comicsgate, and the majority of them turned the offer down flat. The reason? They didn't want to give Comicsgate any press or coverage. Indeed, for the most part, the comics world just wants this to go away. The whole gate suffix is ridiculous, said North. It doesn't mean anything. There's no scandal here. Watergate had a break-in. Gamergate at least had the thoroughly discredited idea that there was something fishy around ethics in the gaming journalism. Comicsgate is nothing. No scandal. No event. Nothing to prove and nothing to deny. Beyond, I don't like some comics and would like for them not to exist. My opinion of Comicsgate is that there are no winners in it and never will be, agreed Kernzer. It's much more productive to praise the books you enjoy, to give them word of mouth publicly. That way, other people will sample them and the market will reward good work. No fighting on the internet required.
You mean like move the needle?
Yeah. like we're doing right now when we're saying check out these products and pointing out, what interests us. Yeah.
Yep. And like those comics revival.
Exactly. And you see these 3 paragraphs highlight what I've been saying the whole time about this article and how beautiful this is, because this article really encapsulates exactly what is coming at us and the attitude. In these 3 paragraphs here, they diminish us. We are not important. We are nothing. They say it very clearly, very straight. We are nothing. And we arguing about nothing. Our opinions are nothing. We have nothing at all to be upset about. And then they end it. they end it with this little paragraph that actually tries to be positive. This whole thing is negative. It's whole against us, against our opinions, that we are nothing, unimportant, and it's completely one-sided opinion. And then they end it with this little positive thing to show that, oh yeah, but we're kind and generous, right? I mean, look at it. Look at this article and understand what you are facing.
Yep.
Yeah, it's just simple intimidation propaganda saying, trying to bully us to say, hey, you're nothing. Look at us. You should be pleased that we're actually talking about you guys.
Yeah. And it's the typical nonsense. Why I wanted to cover this in depth. Now, like I said, thank you all for hanging around for this. We did our comic bit, and then we're doing this in-depth bit, and I'm going to take and I'm going to cut this and split it out and put this up as a separate video later. But we wanted to go ahead and get it done here, because I think it's very important. Let me go over here real quick and look at some of the chat real quick before we go to the rebuttal.
Yep, and don't forget to hit that like, subscribe, and notification, and share this out when you can.
All right. I see one thing here from Mighty Geek Studios. I'll read that. Women could work on any comic book if they wanted to do so. Their problem was that they didn't want to do so. Simply put. Lord Asherman says, they openly threaten people that don't line up ideologically with them and spit on the fans. It's quite a scandal, if you ask me. And it is. And of course, you notice that in that article, they didn't mention that at all, did they? They didn't mention anything at all about all the attacks and all the stuff. And that's really what upsets us. I mean, a bad comic, okay, fine, we won't buy it. But it's the attacks coming from them is what really makes everyone angry. But let's get into this real quick.
The other side.
Yeah, they couldn't publish it because remember the vulgarity. They couldn't publish.
Oh yeah,
what came
can't
from
have our opinions because we're all vulgar. Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you know that, DeWolf? You're a very vulgar person.
Oh, right. Okay. That's true. Yeah. Well, I am vulgar to people who want to suppress freedoms of speech, especially when that freedom of speech includes very big words and not words that you have to cover your child's ears for.
Yes, well, the thing I've always been taught and I've learned my whole life is if you go into a debate and you're actually trying to have a sensible conversation with someone, vulgarity, when you start using vulgarity, you lose automatically.
Yeah.
So,
no disagreement there.
Now, this rebuttal is from Will Friend, who is Dr. Wright down in the chat. And like I said, I'm going to try to talk to him later. I would like to get him on the show.
But you're a big...
Yes, well, that's true. What rebuttal to Comicsgate? What is it exactly, and what's going on? And that's a very nice little Mike Miller picture there. Is this updated or is this? No, this is the original one. That's the Comics Alliance picture. That was very cool. But this right here, we all know this rebuttal because we all agree with it. But Booster, why don't you go ahead and start reading this article, man?
All right. This article seems to posit two basic maxims. One, that Comicsgate as a movement is pointless because they say so. Two, that Comicsgate as a movement is pointless because people should focus on what they do like instead of focusing on what they don't like. These are both ridiculous assertions made by people outside the influence of Comicsgate with no love for either the comics themselves or the fans. Comicsgate is not pointless just because it has to do with nerd fighting about this issue or because it's personal to everyone. In regards to the latter, so are politics, religion, earning potential, social status. Are those also pointless? What you are missing in this argument is that as the big two, Marvel and DC, go, so does the comic industry as a whole go. Comicsgate is not an alternative, it's a lift raft.
A life raft.
Spaceship. Oh, excuse me, a life raft, excuse me. Oh, you keep moving a sec. Stores are down to 2,100 from 4,300 just 10 years ago. That's awful.
It is.
Readership in that same time is down by a third. What those companies are doing is not working. It's empirically proven at this point, but they continue to do it anyway. I can only assume that if they don't want profits, that what they want is access to circulation and widespread indoctrination of their particular brand of morality and politics. Name one Marvel comic that spreads a conservative or Christian philosophy. I'll be waiting for that one. This is not an attempt to get them to change. We know they won't. They've only doubled down in their philosophies and dogma. Where are we? Comicsgate is an attempt of the fans to create a bridge, a veritable network of infrastructure to help creators who will listen to their fans get their work out to those fans. They told us to make our own books, well, we did, and they still despise us every day for it, even when we leave them alone.
Yeah, it's yep, that's a good point.
Yeah, which goes both with my point is that what's great about this consumer-led movement is that we won't, even if there's pros coming our way, we're not going to wait for the pros to make our own comic books. We're going to actually create it. And, and we have been doing, we've seen successes with that. And, you can go to IndieCron and see other first-time creators jumping in as well.
Yep, yeah, absolutely. And there's a lot of creativity and excitement going on over here as well. Denali, why don't you go ahead and read this point 2?
This is a ridiculous statement because in creating what we enjoy, we are in fact focusing on what we like. The people who read the comics from Marvel and DC mostly use them as a guideline at this point, a to-do list of what not to do. They break them down, analyze their final points, their faults, in order to create their own projects. The comics from Marvel and DC have become like cage monkeys at an unkept circus. Once they were vilified, fit, and well taken care of by their steward, now they are lazy, unmotivated caricatures of what they once were, looking out from behind the bars at the people who used to love them, only to be free when they are dance for political propaganda, bereft of passions, power, and position they once held in our hearts. We would love to have those characters be interesting and to show our appreciation with our wallets, but unfortunately, all the creators are too interesting in getting likes from progressive to care about us. If you can move that up a little bit. Okay. So we'll be over here on our life raft, building a way for those creators who will listen to create new heroes and new dreams that we may aspire to and love. And it's a spaceship. Our spaceship.
Sure. All right. So spaceships are cooler. Anyway, now that rebuttal is very interesting from Dr. Wright, and I think it encapsulates the general opinion of most of us. Your opinion might be slightly different here or there, but it in general says what it wants to say. Do you want to give a comment on that rebuttal there, Mr. DeWolf?
Yes, okay. It's very bad.
Oh, no, it's good. It's good. DeWolf, go ahead and tell us what do you think about that rebuttal from Dr. Wright.
I'm sorry, I had to step away for a moment, sir.
Oh no, that's fine. Okay, well, I'll give my opinion then. I think it's well written, and it does cover the general concept. But for me, I think this whole thing we're doing over here has a lot to do with we're all fed up with what's going on in the main comic books because we love comic books and we're not able to read them anymore because they're so awful. And another thing is going on that was mentioned in the article from Global News that I think is poignant is that it is bigger. What's going on in the Western world is a cultural war. And that's, end of conversation. That is happening and it's serious. And a lot of us, I think, we see that and we are looking for a place to join with others who agree with us and kind of get away from those slings and arrows, right? And this community provides that. Now, along the way, this community actually started making its own comics. Richard started that because he was challenged to do so, and he did it successfully. And now we're seeing a lot more comics come out. So that added to the fun. It's made it cool. It's become something new. It's become something different, beyond just a place where we could come and all talk about our grievances together and be sad. Now we have a reason to be happy because we have all these comics coming out, and we should thank Richard C. Meyer for that because he he is the impetus of it. Now, Richard's not a leader, as Denelli has said. He's not a leader in this community. He doesn't want to be, and he doesn't have to be. But he is the trailblazer. That's what he is. And look at all the stuff that's come out. Look at Ethan's book and Mitch Breitweiser and Mike Miller and we got Antonio Bryce and Kanan White. I mean, goodness gracious, what an amazing artist. I mean, just on and on and on. And this is just the beginning. It's going to get cooler. I mean, Ethan's got his Rainbow Brew coming out, and we have all these ideas coming out of Mike and all these other things. So it's really fun what it's become. You know, as you know, Edwin likes to say, this is a consumer revolt, and it is to a point. But I think it actually started more as a place where we just would come and lick our wounds together, and then it became something that was hopeful. And I think that is very cool. But we do need to end this up. I have a show starting in 30 minutes. Well, I'll talk about all that stuff at the end. But let me get a comment from everyone here to finish out the show. So let's go ahead and start with Booster. Are you there, Booster? You got something you want to say to the people?
I am here, in fact, and I got nothing, to be honest. I'm not gonna lie. I'm sorry.
It's all right. DeWolf, you got a closing statement, man?
Yeah, I got some breaking news here. I'm lining up a contributor who's going to be reading through the new Marvel Dazzler #1, giving us a review on it.
Awesome.
So I think it's going to be pretty exciting. It's right there in the target audience of a young girl trying to get in to learn about comics, and so I think it's going to be pretty exciting. Hopefully, we can line her up for maybe this Saturday.
Excellent. Yeah, no, just we'll talk about it after. But yeah, no, that's cool. We want people to come on, do your reviews. You want to do a comic review like that? Please do it. Go to Fanspeak. Hey, we'll have you on the show. Great idea. Awesome news there, Mr. DeWolf. Janelle, you got a closing statement, man?
I'll go with my to-go statement. Everybody's in control of their own action. They're accountable for their own will. You know, if you don't like it, do something about it. If you're, whatever you are, wherever you are, make it the best thing you can do. Make your life the best thing, and only you have the control over it. Don't wait for others. Focus on what you can do. Be positive, because there's going to always be challenges throughout. You are in control of everything. So with that, have a wonderful night, and thank you for joining us.
Aww.
Excellent. All right, thank you very much, Denelli. And yeah, thanks a lot for staying with us, guys. This actually was a Comics News Today, which we did for the first 25 minutes, and then it was a live in depth, which, like I said, we're going to cut this and we're going to put it on the channel. But I really wanted to cover this, and I wanted to do it live to have some interaction. I think that was a very interesting article. But anyway, just to give our Fanspeak updates again before we go off. Don't forget the art contest. Please get yourself ready. The deadline is October 30th, and the prize is awesome. You get your art in a comic book, so please get on the Fanspeak Facebook page. Links down below. Please do that. Also, just like DeWolf had just said, submit your reviews. Do a comic review. We'll bring you on the show to do one. Let's get involved. Get involved. Come over here and say what you want to say, and we'll interact with you, and it'll be fun and interesting. Also, don't forget that Pope Fire has the Comics Titans fundraiser. It's on the Comics Titan fundraiser Facebook page, and Pope Fire is sitting right there in the chat. So why don't you go ahead and drop a link to that, please, if you haven't already. But go ahead and do that, and that's basically a raffle, and it's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to do that on Halloween. Night is going to be the raffle. We're going to have really cool prizes, and we're also going to do the art contest, straw poll voting on that day as well. It's going to be a good day. Join us on Halloween in costume. We can't see them, but we can appreciate you from afar. Also, don't forget, we have our podcast are coming out on Anchor now, and Anchor reaches out to all the podcast channel, and we have been approved on all of them, by the way. So you go and check any kind of podcasting you use. You can find us on there. Just search Fanspeak or Chester Busby. Also, don't forget, here in 30 minutes, less than 30 minutes, we are going to be doing Drawn and Quartered Fan Edition right here on this channel. So you guys got to go off, and you're going to right back on, because it's going to be a cool show. And another very important thing coming up here this Saturday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we are having Mike Barron on, a comic book writer. That is going to be a lot. That's going to be really exciting. I'm looking forward to that. I love his books. And then, of course, last point is don't forget to like and subscribe and hit that bell so you get notifications of what we're doing. Thanks a lot, guys. Really loved having you here. Loved your input. And we will see you in less than a half hour for Drawn and Quartered. It's going to be awesome. Goodbye.
Aloha.
Goodbye.